Hey everybody. So today I've got one of the odder texts in the New Testament that I want to talk about. And the reason it's so odd isn't because so much of what Jesus does, as because of the broader story around his actions. And this is where a little bit of extra biblical knowledge comes in. Well, a little bit of extra New Testament knowledge comes in. We're going to talk about Jesus and the demoniac. And I don't want to focus so much on what Jesus did with healing the demoniac, as powerful a story as that is, as I want to talk about what happened around that and afterwards. So in Mark 5, we're going to work out of Mark with this one. In Mark 5, Jesus comes up, he crosses over Galilee to an area called Gerasenos, according to the Greek. Gerasenos has another name. It's Gerasa. This is part of the Decapolis, the 10 cities. Keep that in mind, the Decapolis. It's important. It's one of those little details that can go missed very easily in the larger context. So he comes into the Decapolis, and this guy comes up. He's possessed. People cannot control him. He's hanging out in the tombs, cutting himself, screaming, running around naked. Jesus asks him his name. He says, Legion, for we are many. This dude is possessed like you wouldn't believe. He has not one or two demons, but a legion of demons inside of him. And what does Jesus do? It's not too big for him. Jesus heals him. He pulls the demons out of him. The demons appeal to Jesus to let them go into the pigs. The pigs, in turn, become possessed. They go off a cliff and dive into the Sea of Galilee and drown. Now, after that, there's an interesting thing that happens. The people come to see what happened. And the people's reaction is so weird, because wherever Jesus goes, people are happy to see him. They want him there. They want him to heal them, to teach them. Not here. Instead, what it says is those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. They wanted him to go. Why was that? Now we've got a man who is possessed by a multitude of demons. You've got people raising pigs, which is a non-kosher animal, and you've got people telling Jesus to leave. This is weird. This is not typical Judean story. This is not a typical area. This area, I want to pose to you, has a demonic history. If you look at a map of the Old Testament, you can see there is a town named Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth was a version of Inanna and several other demons. People worshipped Ashtaroth in this area once upon a time. And I don't think they ever completely got free of it. And then in New Testament times, you've got the Decapolis here. More idol worship. It's Roman. It's a Roman area. So you've got these people who are going to be worshiping Roman deities. All of this just brings in demonic activity. And you have this man who became possessed, and Jesus healed. But now, even more interesting, the man wanted to leave with Jesus. It says here in Mark, we're looking at chapter 5, verse 18, as Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done to you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. Flash forward to Mark chapter 7. Jesus goes back to the Decapolis sometime later, and we see an interesting change. Remember, the people were begging Jesus to leave their area in Mark 5 after he healed the demoniac. Here, it says, "Then Jesus left the vicinity of Tyre and went through Sidon down to the Sea of Galilee and into the region of the Decapolis." We're in chapter 7, verse 31. There some people brought to him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged Jesus to place his hand on him. Suddenly, 2 chapters later, this area that had begged Jesus to leave, now they're coming to him, asking him for healing. My theory, it doesn't say this explicitly in the text, but I can't help but to wonder if that demoniac, the man who was freed by Jesus, who went to the Decapolis and told about what had been done to him, if the people had seen it with their own eyes, had seen him healed, this man who had been living in the tombs, cutting himself, screaming and hollering demonically, the man that nobody could hold back, he's suddenly preaching about Jesus' mercy. And now in the Decapolis, you have people coming to Jesus Christ looking for healing. It may just be a coincidence. My psychology teacher from a couple of semesters ago said that the correlation doesn't necessarily equate to a answer, but this is a pretty strong correlation, and I think there may be something to it. So, what has Jesus done for you? This demoniac was healed. He went and he told people about what happened. You're in an area that there's idol worship, demon worship, an area that had a history of demon worship. And you see people coming to Jesus Christ. What's your story? What has Jesus done for you? Could he possibly use you, like he did this demoniac, to reach a people, no matter how dark the area is? Something to think about. You guys take care. God bless.